Hello, first graders. So today we're going to talk about something a little bit tricky. It's naming yourself last. So when you're writing or speaking sentences and you're talking about yourself and another person, you always have to name yourself last. You can think about it like it's sort of the polite thing to do, like you let somebody else go first. So there are two different ways that you can do that. First, you could use the word I. You could say something like Sally and I. You never would say I and Sally. You always have to come last in a sentence, whether you're writing it or speaking it. You could also use the word me, mom and me. You don't say me and mom. You have to let other people go first. So now we're going to talk about when to use I and when to use the word me. So remember a while ago we learned that sentences have two different sections. There's the subject of the sentence and the predicate of the sentence. Very fancy word, predicate. Remember, the subject is who or what is doing the action, and the predicate is the action that is happening. So the first sentence says, Sally and I play with the kittens. Sally and I is the subject of the sentence because this is who is doing the action. Sally and I are the ones playing. The predicate would be the end of the sentence. Subjects are usually at the beginning and predicates are usually at the end. So if you and the other person are the subject of the sentence, you use the word I, usually at the beginning of a sentence. The sentence at the bottom says, Dad helps John and me. In this case, Dad is the subject because he's the one helping. The predicate is John and me. That's who he's helping. You use me if you and the other person are the predicate of the sentence. Now, that sounds sort of confusing, so here are a couple ways to help you. Usually you use I if it's coming at the beginning of a sentence, and you usually use me if it's coming at the end of a sentence. An even easier way is if you're not sure, pretend the other person's name isn't there and see which one makes sense, I or me. So for example, in the first sentence, pretend Sally and isn't there. I play with the kittens is a perfectly fine sentence. We wouldn't say me play with the kittens, so we have to use I. You can do the same thing for the bottom. Pretend John and isn't there for a minute. Dad helps me is a great sentence. Dad helps I is not a great sentence. So you can remember this a couple different ways. Okay, here I have some sentences, but I've left out where we're naming ourselves. So I've left out I and me. So we need to figure out whether we put I or me in each sentence. And remember that in all of these cases, you name yourself last. So I or me is always going to come at the very end of whoever we're naming. So this says, Jack plays with Jill and blank. Should we use I or me in this sentence? Jack is the subject, and this is the predicate. You could also think that it's coming at the end of the sentence. Or pretend Jill isn't here for a minute. Would we say Jack plays with I or Jack plays with me? This one should be me. Jack plays with Jill and me. The next one says Jill and blank play games. Should it be Jill and I play games or Jill and me play games? Notice that it's at the beginning of the sentence. Could also pretend Jill isn't there again. Would we say I play games or me play games? This one's the word I. It is the subject of the sentence, and it's at the beginning. The third one says, Jill runs with Jack and blank. Should it be Jill runs with Jack and I or Jill runs with Jack and me? Notice that it's at the end of a sentence, and we could pretend Jack isn't there. Jill runs with I or Jill runs with me. This one should be me. And the last one says, Jack and blank pet the dog. Jack and me pet the dog or Jack and I pet the dog? It's at the beginning of the sentence. It's the subject. And you could pretend Jack isn't there. Would we say I pet the dog or me pet the dog? It should be I pet the dog. Good job. We're going to practice this in your reader's notebook today, so go get that and a pencil. We're going to be on page 97 in your reader's notebook. Just like we did here, read each sentence, and you've got two options. Me and I here. Figure out which one makes the most sense in that sentence. So remember, there are a couple different ways you can think about that. It's at the beginning of a sentence here, so this is going to be the subject. Or pretend this other person, Jean, isn't there. Great job today, first graders. I know that this is very tricky, but I bet that you're getting the hang of it. We'll practice more later this week, so not to worry if it seems hard. We'll see you tomorrow for more. Bye!